So another senseless shooting in Florida at this high school, and again it just puts out the notion about gun control and what can we do, and the debate that always seems to rage on Twitter and Facebook, but it really doesn't get any legs in Congress and the Senate. It just doesn't really get enough legs with politicians. And before I hear that the Republicans are about the NRA, this is everybody. How long have we seen this now? The last couple of years, and we had a Democratic president for 8 years. How long have we seen this? This is Democrats and Republicans. And I can't stress this enough when I tell you folks that they're all the same. They are all the same wolf in sheep's clothing. They are the same people. Democrat politicians, Republican politicians, they're all the same. Yeah, does the NRA, did they get a little bit more money from the NRA, the Republican politicians? Yeah. But, everyone's to blame here. No party's been able to come together on anything. And it's just the fact that the days really of bipartisan, if there really was any strong primetime days of bipartisan politics, we haven't seen that in a long time. Long time. Last couple of years at W, until now. There's just been no bipartisan. What's that? Working for the people, working together. What's that? I'm a Democrat. I'm supposed to hate you. I'm a Republican. I'm supposed to hate you. It's just horrible. So you have this shooting in Florida, and you have all these things, and I'm not going to get into the crisis actors. Do I feel that CNN plants people at certain places? Yeah. I don't think this was one of the cases, but I'm just one of those people where I don't believe a fucking word that my government tells me. I don't believe a fucking word that the media tells me, because the media has their own fucking agenda. I will very rarely believe anything our government tells us. I will rarely believe anything that Fox News says, or CNN, or PMSNBC, or PBS, or NPR, or the freaking Daily News and New York Times, because they all have their own agenda. So they're not doing what's best for me or you. They're doing what's best for them, what they want. I mean, the crisis actor thing has gotten out of hand, and it's gotten ugly. And one of the girls that was speaking out on gun control, one of the survivors from Florida, this person actually tweeted out, "Shut up, brown, bald, lesbian girl." I'm just sitting there, I'm like, who the fuck says this? Who says this? Who really? And I've seen the topic brought up that, well, if the kids want to get into the debate and get in the public eye, they are more than open game for scrutiny. I can see where these people are coming from when they say that. I really do. Before you start jumping all over me, oh, Chris, they're kids. I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, these kids have lost their friends, maybe their girlfriends, their boyfriends. They've lost people that they are really close with. And unlike previous shootings in schools, they want to make a difference. Now, am I for banning guns? No, and I don't think that most people are. There are liberals out there that want all guns banned. They do. And to me, I think that's just stupid. It can't happen because it's unconstitutional. But I'm not a guy that, you know what, take all the guns away. No. But there has to be stricter gun laws. Now, Trump proposing to ban the bump stocks, to raise the age to buy a gun. It's not anything major, but it's small steps that Trump is taking to prevent this or act on this. Has Trump gotten a shit ton of money from the NRA? Yes, he has. 100%. And unfortunately, I think Trump knows that he needs a lot of those NRA people to get back in the White House for a second term. Me personally, I would love to see Trump in his second term with no allegiance to anybody. And I really think then that you'll see the Trump that everyone thought we were going to get. The fuck the swamp guy and all this, and I'm going to do things my way. I think you would see that with a second term Trump because, hey, if they impeach me, or whatever, I'm gone in 4 years, or I'm gone in a year, whatever the hell you want to do. And he has no allegiance and doesn't have to worry about anyone for re-election. Sadly, he is still, he fails to rip on the NRA. And I don't think, saying kill the NRA, I don't think that's helping anything, but the NRA is partly to blame here. And they have to be held accountable, and they have to take accountability. I think the banning bump stocks is a start. The raising the age to buy a gun. The AR-15s should not be allowed. And I said this on Twitter. The AR-15s should not be allowed for any civilian use at all. There's no way. There's no reason for that gun. And I don't want to hear that that people need it for hunting. There is no civilian at all. Unless you're fighting in a war, there is no civilian that needs an AR-15. There's just no reason for it. There's none whatsoever. There is no absolute freaking reason that you need an AR-15. There's no reason. That's got to be banned. There has to be stricter background checks. There does have to be a thing regarding mental. And I think that's a problem that people, they want to harp on the gun thing. Well, there are some sick people out there. And I think mental disorders and all this and psychotic, this needs to be looked into. You know, we can blame the gun, but at the same time, there is a sick motherfucker, sick in the head, pulling that trigger. The gun's not going off on its own. It's not the final season, it's not the final episode of Breaking Bad with the gun shooting itself. This is an actual sick person shooting this. And those people need help. And there needs to be stronger stuff for that. The FBI dropped the ball. You know, and I don't understand. It's so funny that I understand these kids are frustrated and the parents are frustrated. But you know what? Instead of let's blame Trump. No, Trump's in bed with the NRA and all this. Granted, I'll meet you halfway there. But can we shit on the FBI a little bit? Can we get on the FBI? You know, the FBI has been so worried building a fake case with Russia against President Trump, who had no collusion with Russia at all. It's been, what, a year and a half, 2 years that they're trying to prove this? And they still have nothing? Zero? So the FBI is out there trying to frame President Trump, but yet they ignored, and they admit to ignoring signs about this kid that shot up the Florida school. Where is the hatred for the FBI? I'm not going to do that. You're going to blame Trump. This piece of paper dropped out of my hand. Let's blame Trump. Trump is no angel here. You know, and Trump has to not kiss the NRA's ass here. But he's doing little steps. He's dancing around some bigger problems, yes. But he's taking small steps. But something needs to be done. There is no reason why a child should go to school, and even a teacher. There should be no one going to school worried about being shot. It's horrible. And his idea for the teachers being armed with guns, no. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. And I'm not trying to be funny here. But you know what? You got a teacher strung the fuck out over a class that stresses you out. You don't want him or her with a fucking gun. You don't. I look back at some teachers that I've had over the years. I wouldn't have wanted that guy with a gun. Or that woman with a gun. No way. You have more officers. You have more maybe undercover people armed. I saw on Fox News that he's floating bonuses for teachers that carry the guns. Listen, I think that's a bad idea. I'm not a fan of it. He did bring that up at the White House when everyone was there with the families and the survivors were there. A couple people raised their hands. A couple people didn't. More people raised their hands that they were opposed to it. And I will be one of those people. I appreciate maybe the effort there, but I think that's, it's not as loony as people think, but I'm not a fan of it. There's a lot of reasons why that could go wrong. I think you have more armed guards there. And also, here's a concept. Have metal detectors. You have guards at banks, you have guards here, you have guards there, you have metal detectors here and there. Why can't we have a metal detector in schools? First of all, you'll find out everything with a metal detector, whether it's a gun or a knife. If people go, oh, well, to take away the guns, you'll have the knives. Well, guess what? If you have a metal detector, they'll spot both of them. I don't know why there's not a metal detector in every school. Like, what's the problem with that? Why can't we have that? What's the problem? These kids feel like their privacy will be invaded? Well, you know what, kiddies? Guess what? You either have the metal detectors, or, sadly, stuff like this may happen. People are frustrated. I get that. But people have to compromise here. I've seen people go, oh, no way with metal detectors. Why not? Why? Explain to me why there is not a reason to have a metal detector in every high school. Now, college, it's a little bit different because you have numerous places and it's a university and all this and that. I get that. I understand that. And I think colleges, maybe you should have more armed officers. In high schools and elementary schools, 100%. There should be metal detectors everywhere. And yeah, I said elementary school, unfortunately. It's all about safety. You can never be safe enough. But again, we have to really, it's getting tiring that frequently we're seeing children in schools shot up. This is not good. This is not our country. We're better than this. And we have to find a way to control this gun problem. And again, banning the bump stocks and raising the age for a gun is a start. But President Trump, good job, but he's got to act a little bit more here. And he cannot sit here and kiss up to the NRA. And AR-15 should be banned. Again, there's no reason any civilian should have them. And there should be metal detectors in every high school around the country, every elementary school. And there should be an armed guard and more armed officers in colleges. And I think that'll be a start to prevent tragedies like we saw in Florida, and we've seen too many.